Apparently not satisfied with the world domination attained by Clash of Clans, Finnish Wunderkid developer Supercell followed it up with Clash Royale, a deck builder tower defense quasi-MOBA online action strategy game, all that, that's taking the world by storm. So we offer this compendium of tips, tricks, and dirty little secrets to help you on your way to clanny glory.
Number 1. You are not a unique snowflake. All deck builder games have one thing in common. You start out intoxicated by all the wonderful imaginative possibilities in crafting your own unique, brilliant deck. You assemble a deck that reflects your own personal style and send it out to thrive and prosper, and then it gets stomped into the dirt with grim efficiency by more experienced players. Here's the deal. You are not special. You do not know something that thousands of others haven't already figured out. Put it this way, Clash Royale has been downloaded over 100 million times. If only 10% of those are regular players, and those 10% average 10 games per day, both very conservative estimates, you're talking about a non-stop laboratory in which 100 million games are played each day, with innumerable players making note of what works and what doesn't. By all means, feel free to express your creative side in your deck, just know you're going to lose a lot of games for it. Number 2. Gimme shelter. Contrary to popular belief, your towers are more than a set piece for your enemies to grind to dust. They can also provide shelter for other units and structures. For example, you can drop a musketeer behind a tower and let it take pot shots at approaching melee units who will have to walk around the tower to get at her if they're even targeting her at all. You can also plant a goblin hut out of harm's way there, allowing a steady stream of goblins to flood onto the battlefield for free. Granted, such tactics may only buy your units a few extra seconds, but in a game whose total length runs a few minutes, that's nothing to sneeze at. Number 3. Elixir is so money. Memorize the elixir cost of each unit and get in the habit of thinking of every battle as a tiny financial transaction. For example, say your opponent drops a skeleton army. You could wipe them out with an arrow spell. Since the army costs 4 elixir and your arrow spell only costs 3 elixir, that's a net gain of 1 elixir for you. But if the enemy also has another low health unit, say a wounded archer, coming into range, a well-timed arrow spell will kill that unit as well as the skeleton army, thereby increasing your net gain by another 3 elixir. Now you're heading to the little financial race that's always going on in a game of Clash Royale. An edge in elixir also makes it easier to plop down more units for a counterattack, and since each unit represents an investment in elixir, the longer it stays alive, the more value you're getting for your money. The more beneficial transactions you can make, the more of an edge you'll have. Sorry to disappoint you. Clash Royale may look like an epic battle of warring kingdoms, but in the end, as with so much else, it all comes down to math. Number 4. Rock, paper, scissors, musketeer, goblin, Valkyrie. In order to keep your elixir edge, you'll need to remember which units counter which other units. In other words, what cards to play in order to kill another card with maximum efficiency. The giant, for example, looks ominous lumbering towards your tower, right? But the giant only ever attacks buildings, so you can send weak melee units in to take it down. Drop a 1 elixir skeleton next to the big slow dope at the beginning of his journey, and those fragile bones will take down a chunk of his health, making it easier for your tower to finish him off. You've just killed a 5 elixir unit for a cost of 1. These little edges may not seem like much, but they add up over time. To paraphrase Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday, the elixir you need is all around you. So, what are you waiting for? Number 5. Count cards, count elixir, count everything. One of the nice things about Clash Royale is that, with a deck size of 8, it's easy to count cards. After the initial shuffle, cards are dealt into your hand in predictable order. Every time you play a card, you know the same card will come back into your hand after you play 4 more. The same goes for your opponent. Okay, so she dropped one of those annoying princes. Here's the silver lining. She'll have to play 4 more cards to get another one. Keep track and you can see it coming, and be ready with a response. What's more, if you familiarize yourself with the dominant deck archetypes, you should be able to figure out what your opponent is playing. Also be aware that each player gets a fresh elixir point a little bit less than every 3 seconds. Keep a running count in your head and you'll get better at predicting what might be coming your way. And by the way, never leave yourself idle with a full reserve of 10 elixir. All you're doing is throwing away potential income. Number 6. Stop wasting gold upgrading cards you don't use. When you first start playing, you get that tiny little endorphin rush whenever each of your cards levels up. Plus, they're so cheap! At 20 gold or 50 gold a pop, you might feel that you may as well upgrade all your cards. After all, who knows when you'll need them? But as with Clash of Clans, the developers at Supercell are merciless in the way they crank up the expense of upgrades at higher levels. For example, upgrading a common card such as Archers from level 10 to a level 11 costs a jaw-dropping 20,000 gold. With that kind of money going down the drain, if you're a free-to-play type, you'll want to start thinking hard about which cards you need. The last thing you want is to be stuck with a gimped baby dragon because you dumped all your cash into a level 10 goblin that's benched. Number 7. Get to know your spells. intimately. Some spells don't just deal damage, they may also have secondary effects. For example, the Fireball spell knocks back enemy units in its radius. As you play the game, watch what happens when you cast a Fireball. With skill, you can get some cheap kills by knocking an enemy unit into the range of one of your other units, an archer say, that's hanging back a little too far. Opportunities like this are rare, but you should be ready to seize them when they pop up. Better yet, the Tornado spell pulls enemy units into a tight cluster, making them vulnerable to other area damage effects. Combo a Tornado spell with the Sparky unit, and you're looking at putting some serious hurt on your opponent. Number 8. This Royal packs heat. You may not notice it at first given the tiny screen you're working with, but the King's Tower has 2 modes. At the beginning of a match, he's in sleep mode, watching the outcome of the battle raging around him. But if his tower gets damaged, or one of his other 2 towers gets destroyed, he busts out a big cannon and joins the fray. And that cannon ain't just for show. The King's big gun has a range of 7, fires off a shot a second, and can hit air and ground units. Point being, you want to avoid waking up this sleeping giant before the first enemy tower goes down. Otherwise, you're giving your opponent a free boost to defense. Unless you're going for a rush strategy, watch where your arrows and fireballs land, and be mindful where you place any units that prioritize buildings as targets, like giants, lava hounds, and balloons. Number 9. ABC. Always be chesting. Elixir isn't your only resource in Clash Royale. Another is time itself, and you can be making that time work for you. Winning battles in multiplayer will earn you chests of varying quality, silver, gold, and so on, depending on the quality of the win and the level of the arena where you compete. These chests take anywhere from 3 hours to 24 hours to open once you click on them. Unless you're willing to spend real money on the in-game store, they're your primary method of acquiring new cards and upgrading old ones. You can hold up to 4 closed chests in your inventory at one time. Anytime you have chests in your inventory and one of them isn't in the process of being opened, you're wasting time. Anytime you have 0 chests in your inventory because you haven't played enough matches, you're also wasting time. This is Supercell's not so subtle plan to keep you checking in the hopes that you'll crack and drop a cool $500. I know it, you know it, log in anyway. Number 10. Unleash your inner couch potato. They say practice makes perfect. That is a load of hooey. Sometimes the best way to get good at something is to stop doing it and watch someone else do it instead, as long as they don't suck too. Clash Royale makes this easy thanks to a handy dandy in-app feature called TV Royale. TV Royale keeps an updated list of viewable matches sorted by arena ranking. Just tap the green watch button and it'll open up the recorded match in-game or on YouTube. Don't watch passively though, try to understand what's going on and take away ideas for your own play. If you want to get more in depth, scour YouTube and Twitch for commentated matches by expert players. And hey, if your friends give you crap about taking a video game too seriously, just invite them for a friendly match and stomp them into oblivion. Number 11. What a drag. If you're just tapping the battlefield to deploy your cards, you're missing out on a nifty feature. If you drag a card onto the battlefield, it won't deploy until you've let go. While it's in limbo like this, an exclamation point will pop up if the new unit will cause an enemy unit to change targets and attack it. In other words, if you're hoping to distract an enemy with your new addition to the battlefield, keep an eye out for that exclamation point.
I haven't scratched the surface of the vast roiling mass of deep thought that Clash Royale has inspired. Seriously, it's kind of ridiculous how much of the internet has already been devoted to analyzing a game that's barely a year old. I don't think as many words have been spilled discussing chess strategy, but these pointers should be enough to give you a good head start. Keep practicing, stay connected to the Clash Online community, and in no time you'll be causing total strangers halfway around the world to hurl their phones against the wall in frustration. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to ArcadeCloud and leave us a like on Facebook. There's a link in the description, and I'll see you next time.